Hey there. So we know sugar is not good for us, right? And then the natural sort of thing to do is go and replace it with something else. And the problem is artificial sweeteners are the thing that people tend to go for. Now today I'm going to talk to you about why these are not such a great idea. So the first thing is that sugar needs to be dropped in our diet for many reasons. Weight gain being the big one, energy levels, immune function, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. Like, sugar contributes to lots of these problems because it causes inflammation. So what are you going to do to try and get the sugar out of your diet, and how are you going to replace the sugar? Well, the thing is we are all addicted to sugar. Well, not all of us, but most of us are addicted to sugar, right? That sweet taste is so addictive. And so what's happened is over the years, we have got used to having very sweet food. So what we actually need to do is we need to learn to get used to eating foods that aren't so sweet. And what I commonly do is I put my clients onto a sugar detox. Now this is where you go off all sugar, all sweet things, including fruit, for 3 to 5 days, and you let your body detox off the sugar. Now when you come back to eating like a piece of fruit, you'll be like, wow, that's so sweet. Whereas the sugary thing that was in the chocolate or whatever you're used to having will be just like, ugh, like almost gross. Yeah. So what's happened is our body has got, because sugar is so addictive, our body has got used to having like this really high level of sweetness. And we crave it. Our brain literally craves it every time we have something. So we need to sort of like go all the way back to the bottom, and then we can reset our taste buds, basically. Do a taste bud reset. So this is the first thing to do. Now, this is why I don't want you to be having artificial sweeteners. The artificial sweeteners are basically, putting in a very short word, toxic. Yeah, they've been linked to cardiovascular disease, brain cancer, headaches, more sugar cravings, weight gain. The WHO has even said don't even eat them, like they're dodgy. So there's lots of science now saying don't eat them. Now the other thing to do is, okay, so you've got, say you do the sugar detox, right? You get off the sugar, but then you're like, oh, I want to have something sweet one day. How am I going to do sweet without doing sweet, right? So you've kind of got options, like tiers of like good to bad or less sweet. So the first one is get used to eating less sweet food. That's the first option. It's kind of like the hardest, but it's the long-term game. Is actually that's what we want you to do, is eat less sugar, and then therefore you will crave less sugar, and then you will need less sugar, and the whole thing just sort of slows down, right? The second one is you can start using, instead of like refined sugar, you can start using like things that are naturally high in sugar, like naturally, like fruits, like dried fruits, fruit, maple syrup, honey, those sorts of things. Now, keeping in mind that these are also very sweet, right? So the more of these you have, the more you're going to want, because sugar is addictive. You're going to still end up wanting to go up. So you just have to keep this in check with you. You always need to be keeping it in check. This is the thing about addictive things. You always want more. It's just the way it is, right? So you just have to be like, how many pieces of fruit have I had today? 2. Oh, that's okay. 5. Oh, that's getting a bit much. That sort of thing. So with the dried fruits, people think, oh, I can have as much dried fruit as I would fresh fruit. Now, this is not true, because what happens is the fresh fruit is condensed down and the sugars concentrate. So dried fruit is way higher in sugar than fresh fruit. Because you wouldn't eat like 8 oranges, right? But you might sit down and eat like easily 15 pieces of like dried, or maybe not dried orange, but some dried fruit, right? It's kind of easier to eat. But it's the same for fruit juice, actually. So you wouldn't drink, eat, say for example, 8 oranges in 1 glass of fruit juice. You would not sit down and eat 8 oranges, but you could easily drink a glass of fruit juice. So think of it like that. If you're doing this with sugar, like more and more of this sort of stuff, like having more and more fruit sugar, you'd be like thinking, oh, it's good for me, it's fruit sugar, it's okay. But actually, no, it's not, right? So keep your fruit to about 2 pieces a day. This is just general information for most people. And then really low on the honey and the other things. The next thing you can talk about or think about is the sugar replacements, right? So you've got sugar replacements. I talked about these in the How to Eat Healthy video. I talked about xylitol. Now, the thing about xylitol, it is still a very refined product, so it's not really that natural, but it is very good in the sense that it doesn't stimulate your blood sugars, it doesn't spike your insulin, all that sort of stuff, right? So you've got to start weighing this up. You don't want to be living on that stuff. A little bit every so often is fine. Moderation is okay, right? You've got monk fruit and you've got stevia. Now these are natural plants. So stevia is like a herb, monk fruit's a fruit from China. Again, these, when you eat them whole, like you eat stevia from a plant, it's like, well, yeah, it tastes sweet, but it's got bitter, it's got a bunch of other flavors in it. So what they've done is they've extracted that sweet part of stevia and made it into like a sugar substitute. So again, very refined. Same with monk fruit, very refined. So you've got to sort of weigh things up. So this is why in the end, the end of it all, the long game is you want to actually just reduce your sugar as much as possible. Have it as a treat, keep it in check, have fruit where you can. The thing about fruit is it has all the fiber and vitamins in it and things like that. So same with the coconut sugar that I mentioned in the last video. So coconut sugar has, instead of it having just like white sugar from the cane plant, refined, yeah, the coconut sugar is brown and it still has a few of the vitamins and things like that, and it doesn't spike sugars as fast. It's not as high GI, so it doesn't raise the sugar level in the blood as fast as say white sugar does. So these are the things to consider, but really the aim of the game is to get off sugar and to get yourself unaddicted to sugar. Stop craving sugar at every meal you have, after everything you eat. So one other thing to note, before I go, one other thing to note is the cravings of sugar can often be related to the gut bugs, right? The bugs in your gut. And if the bugs are not good, they're going to crave sugar. So this is something to keep in mind. You may want to do a bit of a gut cleanse. This is where the naturopath comes in, right? So this is where I can come in and help you balance out your gut flora, get you off the sugar, give you some herbs to help you with the cravings, all that sort of stuff. So if you're looking for a little bit more help, feel free to send me a message. You can book a free 30-minute consult with me. So I'm a naturopath, I'm a herbalist, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a kinesiologist. I specialize in women's health and hormones, and really diet is the most important foundation. Before we do anything else for your body to get you well, we've got to get your diet right. And the reason I say this is I've been working in clinic for 15 years. I've worked out if I just give people pills, not much is going to happen. They have to change their diet first. Sugar is one of the number one things that we've got to get balanced in the body. Basically, we've got to get you off it. So here we go. We'll talk to you soon.